Hey guys, Jamie here with The Point of It All. Today we're looking at a new set of wireless earbuds from Sony. These are the WF-1000XM5s. These replaced the previous model, the XM4s, which were renowned all around the world for being one of the top 2 or 3 earbuds that you could buy. Does the XM5s replace them on that pedestal? Well, let's take a look at what's inside the box. We'll find out. I've had the pleasure of wearing these earbuds for the last 7 days or so, so I'll give you guys my opinions. And now this is a review, but more than any other product reviews, when you're dealing with audio reviews, you have to consider that everyone's listening habits and preferences are going to be totally different. Now, there may be some general rules that we all agree upon as far as what sounds good or what sounds bad. But when you get into the finer details of bass and, you know, treble and things like that, I would say take any audio reviews with a grain of salt. I am not an audiophile. I'm not going to get into wavelengths and frequency response and all this stuff. I'm going to let you guys know how they sound to me compared to my last year's XM4s and then so on and so forth. But please, if you get a chance to try these out, I recommend you do that with any audio products before you decide whether or not they're going to be the long-term purchase for you or not. So without further ado, let's have a quick memory lesson or a quick history lesson from a couple years ago. So my experience with Sony earbuds started with the XM3s. Now, I even bought these used on Amazon, and up until that point they were the best TWS earbuds I had ever worn or used. You can see how much has changed though since then. This is the XM4, which was a couple years ago released by Sony. This was their flagship version a couple years ago. But the XM3s were prior to the XM4s, obviously, the name. But you'll see the difference. Look at the case alone. Look how much smaller they got that case. And the XM5s you'll see are even smaller than the XM4s as far as case size and the earbuds go. But you'll see that the earbuds have changed shape a little bit as well. They're now a little more rounded, whereas they were a little more elongated with the XM3s. Sound quality is also a whole lot better on the XM4s and 5s. It's just a fuller, richer sound now than the 3s were capable of. But that being said, the 3s sounded amazing at the time, just amazing set of earbuds. And I haven't used them in a couple of years, but as you can see, they still work. The case still charges in. They're still great. So let's put the 3s aside and let's look at the 4s real quick, just to get a little recap of a couple of years ago, the flagship. You can see the first thing I noticed is just how big these earbuds are. Even compared to the 3s, they're just fatter, you know what I mean? Now, a lot of that has to do with there's a lot more mics in here for ANC, noise cancellation and whatnot. And the batteries are longer. It's a longer lasting battery in this model as well. And that does take some space. And the drivers are also larger in the XM4s. And that's how you get that much richer sound. So for me, it was a fair trade-off. I didn't mind the bulkier fit because the sound was really that much better. The XM4s also introduced wireless charging to the mix, where the XM3s didn't have that. You had to have the USB-C plug-in at the bottom there. And I'm glad they put they made the base of the case at the bottom so that they actually sit upright now instead of upside down with the 3s here. The XM4s, sound-wise, amazing. I mean, ANC-wise, amazing, near the top of the chain. To me, they're the best that I've ever used up to this point. And I go back to these again and again when I want the best premium sound that I can, you know, find around my house. These are it. So let's see what the XM5s have to offer. Are they better than the XM4s? Let's find out. I'll share with you guys my results at the end of the review here. But first, let's see what's in here. Now, I've already used these. This isn't a really unboxing video because I've already opened these up and had the chance to use them out. But you can see some of the specs to begin with here. 8+ hours of battery life, 8+16. The best noise canceling, that's kind of subjective, but I hear what they're saying. Once again, these will work with Apple devices, but they really shine with Android devices. They have the, you just get a better experience. I think the LDAC codec is only available through Android, which is their high-res Bluetooth audio solution format. So what's in the package? First, you see the case. Now, I opted for the white version this year. I usually get black, but I opted for the white this year. I wish I'd gotten black, and I might trade these in for a black version down the road. As you can see, it's already getting some smudges, and you know what I mean? I'm sure that wipes off, but I'd rather not have to worry about that, and I don't have that issue with the black version. But it's a much smaller, I wouldn't say much smaller case, but it is a smaller footprint this time around. It does have wireless charging as well. One thing you will notice on the XM5s is that it has a pairing button on the back, where as the XM4s didn't have, right? So you would just have to hold down the pairing button for like 3 seconds to activate it, and then it pairs with your phone or device, whatever you're using it with. So as you open them up, you can see that the size is a little bit smaller. Look at that. A little bit smaller size here. And that does come with some caveats. It isn't all great, and I'll tell you guys why in a second. The size wouldn't be an issue if the fit and finish were a little more matte on these. Sony went with a slicker finish, a really glossy finish, I guess is the best way to just describe that. And because they are smaller and they're glossy, that glossy finish, they're really hard to get out of the case. I mean, they constantly slip out of my finger. I have to make a conscious effort when I want to use these, because if I don't, I'm just going to keep missing and I'm going to drop them. I've not dropped them yet because I've been very leery of that. So keep that in mind. And it's the same for the black or white finish. It's the same finish on either color, what colorway that you get. So when they're in your ear, you can see from the picture here, they do fit a little more deeper into your ear. You don't, well, I wouldn't say they fit deeper, but they're smaller, so you won't see them protrude as much. How's that? You can see where you would with the XM4s. They just stick out more. They're just a bulkier set of headphones. Now, one thing that Sony was able to do miraculously was that even though the physical size is smaller, they're saying that they were able to increase the driver size of these earbuds, which should result in a fuller, richer sound, or at least a fuller sound, a bigger sound. And we'll see if that is the case. But inside the case, inside the packaging, you also get a bonus this year. The audio cable, a USB A to C for charging, you always get that. But the bonus this year was that you get an extra set of ear tips, a different size. Now they have super small, large, and then small. I got these, I mix these up a little bit. But there's basically a smaller size this year to accommodate, you know, one more set of ear sizes there. Now, in my experience, this year's material that they used for the ear tips, I didn't really care for them. I mean, I found them very uncomfortable, and they did a horrible job for me of blocking out the extra noise for the ANC part of these earbuds. It just didn't do a good enough job. I immediately switched to the XM4 earbuds, and my experience changed dramatically. And I would advise you guys, before you give up on the XM5s, try a different set of ear tips. If you have the XM4s lying around, I would encourage you to try those instead of what comes with the XM5s, because this material is just, I don't know. I mean, Sony says that it's supposed to give you a better fit, as it'll conform and mold to your ears better, but that was not my experience at all. So don't give up on these right away. Before you do, try a different set of ear tips. How do they sound? They sound okay. And I say okay only because I have the XM4s to compare them to. And because the XM4s were so great, they sounded so amazing, in my opinion, I don't think the XM5s sound that much better than the XM4s. That's not been my experience. Even when I changed the ear tips from the XM4s to use with the 5s, I wasn't really blown away by the sound. of these XM5s. I mean, they sound great, don't get me wrong. Had I not owned the XM4s before, I would say, man, these are the best sounding earbuds I've ever had as far as the 5s go. But when I kept going back and forth, same settings, same tracks, everything the same phone, same device, I always went back to the XM4s. It isn't that they sounded better than the XM5s, it's just that the difference wasn't enough for me to be swayed to keeping the XM5s, right? So if you've never owned the XM4s, right, if this is your first Sony product as far as TWS earbuds go, then by all means, you're gonna love these earbuds. You're gonna love these XM5s. They sound amazing. They sound absolutely amazing. But if you're already an XM4 owner, right, and you can see from the spec sheet the comparisons here. I got this. There's a really good in-depth comparison sheet I saw on Sound Guys. I encourage you guys to check that out. But if you don't need a new set of earbuds and you have the XM4s already and you don't really need the extra benefit of, I don't know, the case, the smaller case and the better fit maybe as far as size goes within your ear canal, maybe you would want to check out the XM5s, but for me, it just isn't enough. It doesn't offer a big enough increase in performance and quality as far as sound goes. So I have already requested an RMA from Sony to send back the XM5s. They're going back in the mail today. And again, I'm not saying that they're bad products. They're not. They're great. They really are. But for me, I'll keep my XM4s for another year. And I might even try the Bose new ones. Bose has a new set coming out as well that I might check out also. Guys, that's going to do it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys buy anything on my links, I'm now an Amazon affiliate. So if you click on the links and you do purchase something by doing so, if you found my reviews and my information helpful, please consider using my link to make your purchase, as I'll get a small commission from Amazon. It'll help me keep this channel going. Without further ado, guys, that is going to do it for this review of the Sony WF-1000XM5 headphones. Hope you enjoy your product if you decide to keep them. And if you don't, keep trying. I'm sure there's another set right around the corner. Peace. I'm out.